I get left out. Hello, everyone. I'm going to go restart my modem. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody. But I think I'm going to talk to Mike today. I was kind of loud. Make it
for every other word, but Act will be there.
If you're in Starbucks watching Mike, you probably can't tell the difference.
Act, just restart the modem, please.
Yeah, go restart the modem, Act. We'll take care of this. All right, there we go.
Yeah, it's like I heard like at one of every 10 words. Okay, folks. Yes, I am sitting in a suburban Toronto Starbucks. Dan is at home. There's actually some news in the NHL today. We'll start off with that because then we'll get into the rumors once X modem is fully restarted. Dan, the Carolina Hurricanes extended defenseman Jacob Slavin to a 7-year deal for, I believe it was $37 million. It was $5.3 million per AAV. Okay, I think he's a good defenseman. I really do. I'm a little surprised I'm not surprised at the term because most teams now want to lock up their defensemen as long as possible. But 5.3, that's a hefty piece of change for Jacob Slavin. What do you think of the deal?
I think this is the modern NHL. You're paying for a guy like Carey Price or upcoming John Tavares. You're paying those guys on their past services, and now you have guys like coming off their RFAs. You're paying them on their future worth. And you're paying for guys in their 20s now. You want the best of a player in their 20s. I have no problem with this deal. Yeah, it's a little high, but Carolina probably has to go a little high to get the 7 years. But of the group of their young defensemen, I think he's the best. So coming up, they have a great-looking young blue line, and I think he's going to be the guy who anchors it. And I think in a year, maybe 2 years, this is going to look like an absolute bargain. I don't think it's a bad deal. I think it's a great deal for Hurricane Denver Slavin. And I think it's something he's going to grow into. But once again, this is something that needs to be addressed with the next CBA. There has to be some kind of restriction coming out of your RFA. It's just crazy guys going from $800,000 to $6 million, $800,000 to $12 million. There's got to be some mid-level exemption. There's got to be some kind of cap on your second contract.
Yeah, now Slavin had 5 goals, 34 points, 5 goals, 29 assists, played all 82 games for Carolina. If you look at their situation right now, they have Justin Falk signed for another 3 years, making less than what Slavin's going to make next year. But then you see 4 restricted free agents all coming off their entry level deal, Pesci and Hanifin being a couple of them. And this is where, like, people who look at the Hurricanes, and I think they're an up-and-coming club, and they've done some things in the offseason that I think are pretty good. But you look at that situation, you wonder whether all those guys are going to be there because can they sign all these RFAs to deal? I mean, I'm expecting that Hanifin is going to ask for pretty close to what Slavin got.
He hasn't been as good as Slavin, though. He hasn't been anywhere close as good as Slavin. He's kind of been a disappointment this far.
Well, I mean, okay, you look at Hanifin's stats, and granted, Slavin was a 4th-round pick in 2012. Hanifin was a 5th overall pick in 2015. Hanifin had 29 points, and Slavin had 34. Not a great deal of disparity there. Now,
if you're just looking at points. If you're looking at to play in his own end, Hanifin's not there yet. I love Hanifin. I think he's going to be a very good defenseman, but I think he probably gets somewhere in the 4 range, and I think Pesci gets somewhere in the 4 range. Then you have let's see, that's 10. You have less than $20 million in your top 4 defensemen. That's pretty good.
But you are talking about Carolina, who is not they're a budget team and not a cap max team.
That's still not bad for your top 4 defensemen.
It's not. But what I'm saying is that this is a team sort of the opposite of Toronto. They are loaded on defense, but they don't have enough forwards.
Right.
And Toronto has too many forwards and not enough defense. Now I've speculated about them, there being a match there in terms of a trade. But even if there isn't one, it's a situation where I don't think Ron Francis is in a situation where he can keep all those guys. He may have to move one of them off so he can. Yeah, maybe it's Falk. I mean, Falk is 3 years, and I believe it's around $4.75
That's a good contract. We know he's a flawed defenseman. He's not great in his own end, but what he does well, he can really help to a team. And you put him with a good stay-at-home defenseman, a good two-way defenseman, there's a lot of teams that would be jumping all over themselves for him.
Yeah, Falk at 4.833 for 3 more years. So
that's a good deal.
That's a good deal. But yeah, Hannafin, Van Riemsdyk, who they just acquired from Vegas Chicago through Vegas, and Brett Pesce are all RFAs after this year. So, and plus they have Jake Bean and they have Hayden Fleury, 2 first-round picks. One is still in the NCAA, and one is playing in the American Hockey